doing this farm business and having Sangley Farms, somewhere when I was growing up, my father said to me, be a laborer, big or small, do it well or not at all. And so I always felt that if I did something, I had to do it to the best of my ability.
New York is an incredibly rural state, which surprises a lot of people. And it's grounded in a lot of that rural culture. And a lot of that rural culture centers around the farm and the family farm.
The farmers here on the east end of Long Island are so diversified, and they've had to do that to remain in business. We have the viticulture industry, we have the nursery industry, we have the greenhouse industry, we have vegetable production, specialty crops.
It's a good livelihood, and it's a wonderful lifestyle. To me, in the field, among things growing in nature. But I think, as it has been over the past few decades, most people would not choose a path of agriculture. You have the weather, you have regulations, you have employees, you have a lot of challenges that I think are somewhat similar in other small businesses, but just seem to be greater in undertaking this occupation. Somewhere along the line, I realized that I got to where I am because of help. Not just from my staff and the people in my organization and this farm business, but from outside organizations like York FarmNet.
FarmNet was started back in the 1980s as a result of the nationwide farm financial crisis. It's one thing to read a fact sheet on how best to put together a business plan, how best to deal with family conflict. But the real way to solve problems, to help people solve problems, is to work with them one-on-one across the kitchen table.
Oftentimes we are called initially because the farm family says there are financial issues. And once we get there, it becomes quickly evident that there are other underlying issues. Perhaps there are communication issues. Perhaps there are intergenerational issues.
I wish I didn't have to call them for the time periods that I did, but it was at very tough junctures in my life. Most recently, I believe it was in 2019. Working with your spouse on a daily basis in an environment that is more than challenging, like farming, can take its toll. And so I was served with divorce papers, and I didn't know what to do. Somehow I saw another light at the end of the tunnel, and I called FarmNet.
I came right away that day, and I give him so much credit because he knew he needed help. He reached out, he accepted the help, and he was open. His feelings were so raw, but he was open to talking about them. So many times, I think in the agriculture industry, farmers are taught that, just pick yourself up by your own bootstraps, and continue on. It's weak if you think that you have feelings that are out of control. That's just weak. But Fred didn't. He realized that he needed help, and he asked for that help. And we met him at his time of need. It's such a strength for a farmer to be able to see that.
It was hard to share fears and doubts and insecurities but it helped me move forward.
Yeah, I think that having FarmNet as an advisor has given my father the capability to feel secure and to feel sound in the decisions that he's making going forward. And so we're really lucky to have them within the proximity that they are to this farm. I think FarmNet was there for him when he needed it most.
I intend to call FarmNet to ask more advice from them and guidance because we're in the beginning steps of a transfer of ownership. And it feels good to think about that the efforts that my dad and my uncles made were able to continue through my efforts. And I'm hoping that with the continued success of the farm that Will and Lucy could have a good year or a good life farming and continuing in the business. So that's my hope and wish.
When farmers can talk with each other about their roadblocks in communication, then they stay in business. And there's no perfect family. But you can have a healthy family, healthy discussions, healthy disagreements, and that will help farmers continue farming.